Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the video about interviewing. I'm going to try to keep this as short as I can. I'm going to try to keep all the videos that I give to you guys under 10 minutes now, okay? So, like it says here, the questions for your interview, if you look at your checklist, they are due April 2nd. You also need to interview close to then. So, maybe you call them on Monday and you set up an interview for Wednesday. Maybe I would say Wednesday at the latest. Thursday, you'd be kind of pushing it because you're supposed to get your commercials actually storyboarded by Friday, maybe Monday at the latest. Okay? So, we're gonna get started, and you have to do the questions before the storyboard, and we'll discuss why here in a little bit. Okay? So, the first thing you need to do, you need to call the business to set up a time. I've given you email addresses, but I would honestly not email a business. Just because with things so hectic sometimes, they might not answer or reply back to you in a timely manner. If one person also wants to go down there and just ask them when would work for them, that could be effective as well. You need to pick a time that fits most of your schedule to go. So if there's 5 people in your group and 3 of them can go to help out, that's fine. Once again, you guys are working on this together. You're divvying up parts. So I trust you guys to, do that evenly and make sure everyone pulls their own weight. If you need to go there, um, you guys can walk to Main Street. Some of you have businesses outside of class or outside of Main Street. AWE, Went Tire, and J Scott are 3 of them that are outside of town. So, and you can't really walk there in a timely manner. So you might have to go there after school, or you might call them and have a conference via the phone, or you could also ask them if they would be willing to come to you and just kind of explain that. I talked to a couple of people who were more than willing to come talk to you guys about this, and so it just kind of depends on who you're talking to and all that kind of stuff. Okay, all right. So, like I said, you're going to be outside of class or with a phone, and so that should work. Okay, and so try to get that done, the interview done by Wednesday. I would say that way you guys can kind of go through the answers and start creating your advertisement based on it. All right, the second part is to come up with your questions. And below are some categories that you may want to cover. And I say may here, but really you do want to cover. You do want to cover, okay? And so here are some of the things. The first one is the positives. So ask them what's going well in your business. A couple of reasons you want to do that. The first one is maybe they really want to highlight what they're doing better than other people, or vice versa. They might not want to highlight that because it's already going great. They want to highlight something that might be not going as well. So that's kind of where the challenges come, or the negatives. Okay, and so um, you want to ask them, what's not working, and figure out if that is uh, something that you guys can kind of cover in your ads. Why people go there? What's the reason that people go to this shop? Is it because they have the right stuff? Is it their prices? What is it? The next one is the demographics, which is age. Normal age groups are usually, let's see here, 12 to 24 is one. 18 to 34, 18 to 49. That is the big demo. That's what most advertisers are looking for, is that 18 to 49 range. 25 to 49, 25 to 54, 35 to 64, and 60 plus. And the reason you do that is because if you're going to make an ad for older people, it's not going to be a hip, young, cool, teenage kind of commercial, and vice versa. And also, it'll help you determine on like what kind of channels it would go on, because when you call in the MediaCom, they're going to ask you, well, what channels do you want to be placed on, and certain channels cost certain amounts of money. So age is a very important one, probably the most important one. that they want to get. The next one is income. What income do you want your clientele to have? Most of us here are in Traer, so it's not going to be for the mighty rich. Um, but if you're going to other places, it might be. And once again, that would determine what channel you're on. Some channels have a more uppity class viewership than others. Gender is another big one. We watched a bunch of commercials that dealt with, more towards women than men or vice versa, and now determine what channel you go to. Stereotypically, you're not going to put a female commercial on ESPN, and you're not going to put a male dominant commercial on Lifetime or whatever it is. Okay. Education. How smart do you want your clientele to be? Once again, we're in a small town. This one won't apply as much. And then location. Do they want people outside Traer coming in? That will help determine where you put your ads at. Do you want them on the Cedar Rapids Mediacom? Do you want them on Waterloo? Do you want your billboards in Waterloo? Do you want it in Traer, in Cloutier, or wherever you go? Okay, so those are demographics that you need to be looking for. Okay, the competition. Um, have them name their top 3 competitors, and some of them probably won't be in town. Some of them will probably be outside of town, and so you can market based on what they say, and you can show how they're better than the rest. You can't use names of other businesses, but you can imply them. How seasonal the business is. If they do really well in the summer and not as well in the winter, then you would want to target your ad in the winter because that's when they need business to pick up. Also, if you're like a Dairy Queen or something like that, you're not really open in the winter, so why would you advertise then? Are there any promotions or sales going on? Is there something that they want to highlight? Is there a not a going out of business sale, but like a clearance sale? I see at Staker Furniture, there's a big sign that says clearance. And so maybe they really want to focus on that rather than just the business in general. What is or isn't working for current marketing? Maybe they're already doing ads in the newspaper. Maybe they're already doing, flyers that they mail out to people. And so maybe those are working, maybe those aren't working, and then you can kind of go off of those and make it better. Do you have a slogan, a logo, or a jingle? You may want to get copies of that if you can, whether it be electronic or a business card. We can scan stuff in and you guys can crop it. And then lastly, which is probably the most important one, what do you want to highlight in your ad? You have all this stuff here, great, but then what do they want to highlight? So based on what they want to highlight and what you feel they should highlight is kind of where you get your marketing from, and that's where you can kind of start um your storyboards. Okay. So next is writing in the scripts. Use the information you gathered to write your scripts and start drawing your ads. Um, you will need in your pitch. You're going to show us a commercial and you're going to show us why you did what you did. And part of it's going to go back to these interviews. You did something because the owner said that they wanted it in there, or that their demographic was this, and so they made this for 18 to 49 or whatever. And so you need that explanation. That's very key, is this explanation. Okay? That's the main part of what you're graded on. So here are your steps. When you're done with this part, you can move on to the next video, which is going to be writing your scripts. All right? Okay, thank you so much.